The film opens with a chilling sequence in a sprawling, eerie palace. Darkness prevails as a wounded man, pierced by an arrow, desperately tries to hide. The walls are adorned with posters bearing the name Ellie Bale, and the atmosphere is thick with dread. Two young siblings, Alex and his older brother Daniel, are also hiding in the palace. In a harrowing moment, Daniel hides Alex in a cupboard, but their hiding spot is soon discovered when the wounded man stumbles into their vicinity, begging for help. Instead of aiding him, Daniel shouts for the family. Masked family members appear, dragging the injured man away. They brutally kill him as a woman's desperate screams echo in the background. This gruesome event, marked by violence and ritualistic intent, sets the tone for what's to come. 30 years later. Time shifts forward, and the scene introduces Grace, a spirited young woman raised in foster care. She is about to marry Alex, the younger of the two boys from the opening. Alex, now grown, has distanced himself from his eccentric and aristocratic family due to their dark traditions. Despite his estrangement, he agrees to marry Grace at the family estate. Daniel, now an adult, warns Grace against the marriage, hinting at the family's sinister nature. Even Alex tries to dissuade her, but Grace, deeply in love, remains resolute. On their wedding night, Grace is introduced to the Ellie Domas family, a wealthy, upper-class group with a legacy tied to mysterious and peculiar rituals. Among them are Alex's disapproving father Tony, his kind mother Becky, his drug-addicted sister Emily, and their imposing aunt Helene. While Becky is warm toward Grace, the rest are aloof or outright hostile. The family tradition. Grace learns of an unusual post-wedding tradition. A new family member must draw a card from a mysterious box and play the game listed. Alex explains that the tradition began with their ancestor Victor Ellie Domas, who made a pact with a man named Ellie Bale. Victor's success in building the family fortune supposedly depended on following the rules dictated by this box. When Grace draws her card, it reveals the game hide and seek. Initially amused, she doesn't realize the deadly implications of her choice. The family's demeanor shifts, and they explain the rules. Grace must hide, and the family will seek her. What she doesn't know is that this version of the game requires her to be hunted and killed before dawn to fulfill the pact with Ellie Bale. The deadly game begins. Unaware of the danger, Grace hides while the family arms themselves with antiquated weapons. Alex refuses to participate and secretly plans to help Grace escape. As Grace begins to understand the true stakes, her survival versus the family's lives, she narrowly avoids several deadly encounters. The first casualty is a maid mistaken for Grace and accidentally killed by Emily. Grace witnesses this, horrified, and begins to grasp the gruesome reality of the game. Meanwhile, Alex disables the security systems to help her escape, but his actions are discovered, and he is restrained by the family. Grace's fight for survival. The hunt intensifies as Grace fights back against her pursuers. She injures several family members, including Emily's husband Fitch and Alex's uncle, and faces the horrifying truth of the family's past victims when she falls into a pit filled with corpses. Each encounter pushes Grace to her physical and emotional limits, but her determination to survive keeps her going. Daniel, guilt-ridden over his role in perpetuating the family's curse, helps Grace escape temporarily. However, his conflicted loyalties lead to his betrayal when he alerts the family to her location. The ritual. As dawn approaches, Grace is captured and prepared for a sacrificial ritual. The family drinks from a ceremonial cup, but Daniel has secretly poisoned it, causing them to vomit blood. In the ensuing chaos, Grace breaks free, killing several family members, including Helene and Becky. Alex, now unhinged and feeling betrayed by Grace, attempts to kill her himself. However, Grace manages to dodge his attack, and he ends up accidentally stabbing her in the shoulder. The curse revealed. As the first rays of dawn light up the sky, the family braces for the consequences of failing to kill Grace. At first, nothing happens, and they believe the curse to be a myth. But one by one, they begin to explode in gruesome bursts of gore. Helene is the first to die, followed by the rest of the family, including Alex, who pleads for Grace's forgiveness before meeting his end. Grace, bloodied but victorious, watches as the house burns around her. The spirit of Ellie Bale briefly appears, acknowledging her survival and signaling her freedom from the curse. The aftermath. Grace, now the sole survivor, walks out of the flaming wreckage, smoking a cigarette. When asked by responding authorities what happened, she replies simply, "In-laws." Ready or Not is a darkly comedic horror thriller that critiques wealth, privilege, and tradition while delivering a gripping tale of survival. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.